So, hello everyone. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my popular literature project. My name is Gracianno and today I will present my analysis the film uh, The Last Supper released in 2025. The title of my presentation is Faith, Betrayal, and Sacrifice in The Last Supper 2025. Introduction: The Last Supper is a historical biblical drama directed by Mauro Borelli and produced by Pinnacle Big Pictures. The movie tells the story of the final days of Jesus Christ before his crucifixion. The story begins with Jesus gathering his disciples to celebrate the Passover meal. During this meal, he teaches them important lessons about love, humility, and service. Sorry. As the story continues, conflicts begin to rise. Judas Iscariot decides to betray Jesus, while the religious leaders plan to arrest him. The climax happens when Jesus is arrested and later sentenced to death. The following action shows his suffer before the crucifixion. Finally, the resolution reminds the audience that Jesus willingly sacrificed himself to save humanity. This film is not only a historical drama, but it also contains many moral values and social messages that are still relevant today. So next to the main character analysis. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is portrayed as a compassionate, humble, and faithful leader. Throughout the movie, he always put other people before himself. One of the most memorable scenes is when Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. Normally, washing someone's feet was considered the job of a servant. However, Jesus performed this act himself to teach humility and servant leadership. This scene is supported by John chapter 13, verse 14 to 15, where Jesus tells his disciples that they should serve one another. Another important moment is during the Last Supper itself. Jesus breaks the bread and shares the wine with his disciples. He explained that the bread represents his body and the wine represents his blood, which will be given for humanity. Even though Jesus knows he will soon suffer and die, he remains calm and obedient to God's plan. His character teaches us that true leadership is based on love, sacrifice, and service instead of power. Next to supporting character analysis, the second character I want to discuss is Judas Iscariot. Judas is one of Jesus' 12 disciples. Unlike Jesus, Judas struggled with greed and temptation. Throughout the movie, we can see that Judas experienced internal conflict. Eventually, he chose to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Although he received money, he later realized the seriousness of his mistake. He feels guilty and regrets what he has done. The Gospel of Matthew chapter 26 explains Judas' agreement to betray Jesus, while Matthew chapter 27 describes his regret afterward. Judas represents human weakness. His story reminds us that making decisions based only on personal gain can lead to regret and suffering. Next, I will discuss the cultural elements presented in the movie. The film accurately portrays Jewish culture during the first century. One important tradition shows is the Passover celebration. The Passover meal is a very important religious event for Jewish people because it commemorates God's deliverance of Israel from Egypt. The movie also shows traditional Jewish clothing, shared meals, religious ritual, and worship at the temple. These cultural details help the audience understand the historical setting of the story. Instead of simply entertaining viewers, the movie also educates them about biblical history and ancient Jewish tradition. Because of this cultural element, the story feels more realistic and meaningful. The first social issue presented in the film is betrayal and abuse of trust. Judas betrays someone who loves and trusts him. His action hurt not only Jesus but also other disciples. Today, betrayal remains a serious problem. We often see broken trust in friendship, family, workplace, and even governments. The movie teaches us that honest loyalty and integrity are essential value in every relationship. Another important social issue is injustice and abuse of power. Jesus is erased upon even though he has committed no crime. His trial is unfair because many people are motivated by fear and political interest rather than justice. This issue is still relevant today. Around the world, innocent people sometimes become victims of discrimination, corruption, or unfair legal system. The film reminds us that justice should always be based on truth rather than personal interest. Personally, I learned many valuable lessons from this movie. The first lesson is humility. Jesus teaches us that true leaders serve other people instead of seeking power. The second lesson is forgiveness. Even after being betrayed, Jesus continued to show compassion. The third lesson is faith. Despite facing suffering and rejection, Jesus remains faithful of his mission. This lesson encouraged me to become a more honest, responsible, and compassionate person in everyday life. To conclude my presentation, The Last Supper is much more than a historical or religious movie. It tells a timeless story about faith, sacrifice, forgiveness, humility, and love. The main character, Jesus Christ, demonstrates servant leadership and unconditional love. Judas Iscariot reminds us the consequence of greed and betrayal. The movie also presents Jewish culture accurately while discussing important social issues such as broken trust and injustice. Overall, I believe The Last Supper is an inspiring film that encourages audience to reflect on their value and choice in life. So, thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day and God bless you.